We're a very popular library. We are a modern library. We do so much more than just book circulation, even though that is still a big part of what we do. And when we have people frustrated about not being able to come in and access those services, it's just heartbreaking. It's very frustrating for the user to come to those granite steps and be turned away, and it's very frustrating for us as librarians to have to see somebody at the bottom of the steps. I mean, we do what we can to provide services out of the building, but there's just so many reasons to come in and use the library, and without a working lift, it's just not acceptable.
Well, he was on a walker, and he enjoyed coming to the library and picking out his own books. Made it easier for me. And when the lift was out, he had no way of getting in. So, and it was out quite a long time, this last time, months. So, he would have enjoyed it longer. At this point, he can no longer come.
The flaw was that the lift that's there in the lobby now really has stopped functioning pretty much. I think 90% of the time it seems like it's not working, and it's also very difficult for most people to use. I think we've had a number of meetings out there in the lobby just discussing design ideas, and I've watched so many people come in and struggle with the buttons and struggle with every aspect of getting in and out of that elevator, and it seems like it takes about 5 to 10 minutes just to go a trip up of about 5 feet.
A person in a wheelchair is a good example of somebody that's impacted by the lack of a lift or this insufficient lift, but there's so many other groups of people too. You have people in walkers or people with limited mobility, and that's a set of steep granite steps. Some people just aren't able to lift themselves, even though if they are able to walk once they're in. You have people with temporary disabilities, perhaps a broken leg, a strain, a back injury. You know, there's just so many reasons why somebody's unable to get themselves up the stairs. You have families with strollers. You have a lot of people come in with multiple small children, and it's just impossible to get them in without using your carriage or stroller. And to lift those up is very hard. I mean, often there's a good Samaritan there that will help, but it's not the way it should be. People should be able to get in easily to the library. You have delivery people. There's no level ground to get into this building, so we have art reception, art shows every month, and those artists need to cart those materials in and out, and all the deliveries in the building. There's no level ground to get into this building.
The location of the elevator will stay the same. Big difference between a lift and a real elevator is a real elevator has a 4-foot deep pit below it. So not only do we have to take that lift out, and it's sitting on a really thick concrete slab, a lot of structural work was done to put that lift in. They had to cut out part of the stairs, they had to put in a new concrete slab under it that was thick enough to hold the whole structure. What we have to do is tear out a fair amount of that work because we have to excavate below it a 4-foot pit. So I thought, well, we could take an elevator, a modern elevator, and then clad it, make it mostly glass, but then clad that glass in a decorative filigree of metalwork that it did two things. It had a level of detail that was comparable to what's in the Forbes library already, but that it's made out of metal. This steel had this sense of strength and longevity and mass to it that would feel like it still fit within the original architecture of the building.
Keep the elevator in the same location, and we can meet all the clearances that are required for the access board, and we can just barely squeeze this commercial elevator into that existing space, but we still got to do a lot of excavation and concrete cutting to do it.
I know it's hard times and people are having trouble making ends meet, but over the period of years, they're going to be where we are right now, and they'll be thankful that they have it.
I really love this library, and the last thing I would ever want to do is a project that everybody thought was ugly. Can't please everybody. There's going to be some people who don't like it, but I think if 90% of the people out there like it, I think it would be a great success, and I think that it will be a beautiful structure out there, far better than what's there now.
The new elevator means to me consistent, reliable service for many years to come. It's a large investment, but it's an investment that will pay off in day-to-day consistent service, people feeling comfortable using it, it not breaking down and not having the costly repairs, it providing us the level of handicapped and accessible service that we want for our library. It will bring us up to a modern state of being able to bring everybody in. It really will be a Forbes for all.